All right, welcome back to the group chat. Episode 43, I believe. We're closing on the 50. Going to be raising the bet in a couple weeks. Wow. Something I didn't do this weekend, unfortunately, on our two-day game. But we're back. It is Super Bowl Tuesday hangover. Phil, how you feeling after what was a big weekend for us, content-wise, event-wise? In the business.
Maybe like a depressive sort of hangover for you, maybe.
A little bit.
Eagles were on point. 40-22, $2.05. Very nice. Well, I got on at $2.05 at least.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
And that was after the game had started. The energy of the crowd. Oh, so
you got on it live.
Yeah. And then after that the first infringement that was called on the first play or whatever, the first set.
Yeah.
And everyone was fired up. I'm like, I'm backing them right now.
Yeah, you messaged me right away. You were like,
nah, I don't care.
Here we go. So it begins. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and still for the UFC champs, very happy about that.
As you should be.
Went 2 from 3 on the picks there. Feel sorry for Justin Tafa, obviously. Hopefully he can bounce back, but plenty of good Aussies on debut, which we can talk about.
Yeah. We'll get into all that. But firstly, top 3 or quick 5 moments of the weekend. What did you like?
I guess
what tickled you?
Pretty much said it, I guess. The Eagles winning was great.
Okay.
Wasn't it great? Wouldn't you say that was a great moment?
So great.
Great performance. I just thought they played exceptionally well.
They did.
Saquon got a bit shut down, but hey, I think he only got like 57 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I had him for like 70 plus.
Yeah, okay.
And that was
paying probably like $1.10.
It was like $1.30 or $1.40.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to play it safe because this is part of like an NFL multi. Just get over the line. Nope.
Yeah.
So they did something good at least.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, but Eagles getting up. That was actually a great game to watch. DDP and Zhang holding on to their belts with 2 very dominant performances, despite the question marks. And what was my third? Oh, yeah, Warriors' first game of the year under the belt. Preseason challenge in their draw, 12-12 against the Sharks. A lot of good up-and-comers in the squad. They got some really good game time. Healy looking sharp. Jet got a run around. A lot of things to work on still, obviously.
Handling
with
errors
the
is a big one.
Handling errors, looking a bit shaky under the high ball. Almost like the players are never sort of ready for an offload in the Warriors team for some reason, where other teams kind of excel on that, and that's how they break through the line. It's like our players just don't expect to be given the ball
which is weird.
Off a tackle. They're just like, oh, where did that come from? It's like, I feel like you should always be ready for an offload.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's obviously not our style of play, but...
Well, I guess what? It's early doors.
Early doors, a lot of positives. A lot of positives.
First look at Jet Cleary.
Yeah. Fisher-Harris looks good.
Healy.
Aaron Clark looks good. Healy looked good. Barnett putting in a shift. So the front big boys look very good.
Who do you think is going to be announced as captain? Do you reckon Mitch Barnett will captain the whole season? Because he was skipper for the first preseason game.
Yeah, I feel like it will just be Barnett.
Be a Barnett thrown through.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes sense. I mean, you could go Fisher-Harris.
Yeah, you could. Kiwi captain.
But one season in, can you give it to him straight away? I mean, he captains the Kiwis. There's the leadership qualities there already. But for me, the Eagles winning will not be in my top 3. However, Super Bowl party food, we did a bit of a thing at home yesterday. More of a dinner after the game because, during the day, you have a little bit of lunch here and there, but it was like cheeseburger sliders, some American like potato chips, some buffalo chicken dip, a whole bunch of American foods, which was beautiful. And there's a little bit of extra for lunch today as well. So
stunning.
That's a win. Hanging out at Tyler Street Sports Bar for the UFC, the watch party there, meeting Carlos Olberg. Absolutely massive. Navajo. Massive as well.
Good to see him again, yeah.
Good to see Navajo. Good to see Aaron. And hang out with those guys. So that was a bit of fun. And then, I guess seeing DDP. I mean, it probably wasn't the fight I was hoping for in terms of excitement levels. Like, it was a good fight, but there wasn't, I felt like the intensity then, like you said, during the fight, it's a lot of how Strickland's fights go. The kind of pressing forward, but quite a defensive boxing style. So they were probably my top moments for the weekend. I don't want to do it, but let's get into the Super Bowl. It was all Eagles, start to finish, right from, I would say, the coin toss, but the Chiefs actually won the coin toss and deferred, which I thought was huge. There's some stat about the team that wins the coin toss goes on and wins the Super Bowl X amount of times. So that got me up and going. A couple props to get you started was quarterbacks to complete their first passes, which was nice. Get a couple early wins in there. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, the deja vu first touchdown scorer again, was one of the prop markets that the bookies did for us, which was cool. That hit again. And then when you messaged me saying Chiefs to win after trailing by 10 or more.
Yeah, another deja vu.
Thought we were in for another deja vu market. But there were some big bets placed on the Super Bowl. Lots of people backing Jalen Hurts as Super Bowl MVP. Naturally, I guess if the Eagles win, he's going to be their MVP unless Saquon Barkley goes absolutely bonkers.
5 touchdowns. Which
he did not. But Jalen Hurts, hell of a game, I think. Going into that, the Eagles are a better team across the board apart from at quarterback. And I said this in my preview that I wrote down that the Eagles should be favorites in this game. The Chiefs are relying on some Patrick Mahomes magic, which we've come to expect from him. Unfortunately, for Chiefs fans like myself, the O-line was Swiss cheese. Pat Mahomes had 2 seconds or less to do something with the ball every time.
Yeah.
And that's just credit to how good the Eagles were. I mean, it was reminiscent of that Tampa Bay Super Bowl where they got dismantled again. Patrick Mahomes always on the run, forcing to make out-of-pocket plays, which leads to mistakes. My goodness, if I could have given a Super Bowl MVP, I would have given it to that whole defensive unit for the Eagles because they were a game changer. They're the reason. Yes, on the offense, they could do whatever they wanted, but that's because they were on the field for so long, and the Chiefs' offense was not. They couldn't get rolling, and that is thanks to that Eagles defense. They were just quality.
I don't think they made it past halfway up until halfway through the third quarter.
Correct, yeah. That big Xavier Worthy bomb
at all.
That got them across halfway was the first time they got into the Eagles territory.
Which is crazy.
Eagles only, I guess it was pretty 50-50. 49% of the bets taken were on the Eagles, so 51% on the Chiefs. And then the biggest win, I think, on Betcha was someone backed Eagles defense anytime touchdown scorer. So they cashed in with the old Cooper DeJean, pick 6, who obviously scored his first ever turnover, first ever touchdown in the Super Bowl, biggest stage on his birthday.
Damn.
Fair play to Cooper DeJean. Good fella. I actually like him. He's bringing, I think, what they call him, the Great White, back to DBs or the safeties, because notoriously they're all African-American guys running the plays there. And he's one of the first white DBs to get back into the league and actually make a difference, which is pretty crazy. So
interesting.
Thoughts on
White Boys Just Slow? What's that?
What that movie White Boys Can't Jump? It's like they've just dominated the position for God knows how many years. Cooper DeJean making a bit of a stance, and he's a Iowa boy, I think, but he's always supported the Eagles, and go and do that on your birthday. He was also gifted a Rolex with his name and number on it. I don't know who from, but
ring and a Rolex.
At 22, that guy's living the life, man. So sick. Super Bowl
also first ever Australian to have a Super Bowl win.
Jordan Mailata, yep. Saw him ripping the Aussie flag when up on the Super Bowl presentation.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Jalen Hurts off to Disneyland less than 24 hours later, right on the Tron roller coaster,
partying up with Mickey Mouse. Yeah,
so it looked like a hell of a party, and I mean, Philly fans probably are still partying now because those guys are mental. Win or lose, there was going to be carnage in Philadelphia overnight. And
the state of that place right now.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild. Halftime show, Kendrick Lamar. What did you think?
In terms of halftime shows, pretty good.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Out of 10, give it a rating.
7 or 8, I guess.
Okay. I
don't know, way better than last year for sure.
You liked it better than Usher?
Yeah, but I'm not like a huge on Kendrick anyway, but I thought he did really well. It's a good performance.
I thought it was a bit slow to start with, and I mean, he kind of said that when asked about what to expect from his Super Bowl performance, his answer was storytelling. And I mean, you got that. He's obviously
got Samuel L. Jackson in the mix. Very cool.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller, Kendrick. But I just thought the energy was a little bit slow to start with until SZA made the appearance.
Wasn't that like the first like slow song though?
Yeah,
he slowed it down.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. It was a great performance. But I was like, when you talk about slow, I was like, that was like one of the slower songs.
I know, but I felt like the energy lifted. The crowd,
right?
The loudest cheer from the crowd, I think, apart from him playing "Not Like Us," was when SZA made her appearance. Sure. And I mean, she is so good. SZA is unbelievable. And they played Luther and then All the Stars, back-to-back bangers, followed
Dances
by...
were great. Yeah, cool.
Oh, Serena Williams making the appearance.
Serena Williams in the mix as well. Interesting
That
stuff.
was a shock. And then, the energy really lifted when Mustard came out, when they're like, Mustard! And then he runs out and they do that song together. Thoughts on the old Drake call-out? He was always going to play Not Like Us.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether he'd actually do the Drake verse and, call him a so-and-so and, strike an A minor and all that sort of stuff. But lots of memes coming out of that for Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, I think there was a meme saying Drake, and it was that sort of that dap up meme. It's like two overly muscular arms dapping each other up.
Yeah.
And it was Kansas City Chiefs and Drake, and it was both being equally embarrassed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I've actually seen a couple different takes on the halftime show. Lots of people glazing Kendrick because he's always going to get the love from the West Coast, the rappers, all that sort of stuff. But I've also seen a lot of comments around it being trash. Thanks for putting on the worst Super Bowl performance of all time. Drake should be pretty happy watching this. Like, he is living in this guy's head rent-free, and all the thousands of people in the Super Bowl to have a song played about him at the Super Bowl. So I've seen both sides of it.
The song that Drake is suing him for, yeah. Obviously, there's going to be glazers on both sides of this coin, so you can always expect that with social media. Overall, I thought it was a really good performance. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
From a neutral perspective.
Have you gone back and watched it back? I always feel like it's better watching it back. So we watched it back over dinner. It is better when you watch it back, I think, because you know what's coming, and I feel like you can get into a little bit more. And then lastly, GOAT conversations. Massive switch up. Patrick Mahomes is never going to be in the GOAT debate anymore. Tom Brady clears by a mile. Obviously, he had the 28-3 comeback.
Yeah,
he's been in that situation before.
Yeah.
It was there for Patrick.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, but the massive switch up.
Credit to the Eagles, though, probably.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they didn't let him in with a sniff.
Until they did the whole Gatorade, and then the Eagles were like,
we've Gatorade won. Shower, yellow-green.
We've won now, and then Chiefs went on to put 20 at the end. Yeah. It was kind of like, you could have ended on a 46 sort of scoreline there.
Bit of really garbage time scoring back for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Probably ruining a few people's multis.
Ruined mine. I had Patrick Mahomes for unders in up until the last sort of like 6 minutes or 10 minutes. It was looking fantastic.
Yeah.
He was nowhere near. And I was like, well, there it goes.
I'll tell you what is weird. If you said to Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs that you're going to limit Saquon Barkley to less than 80 yards, less than 3 yards a carry, you're going to have 3 touchdown passes, 250 yards, and the defense is going to suffocate their run game, they would be stoked. They'd be like, yeah, cool. We've got this in the bag. They wouldn't have thought, okay, we're losing this game 40 points to 22 with Patrick having 3 passing touchdowns. We've stopped their biggest weapon. But ultimately, they would just
Hurts was running free too.
Yeah, with suffocating Saquon Barkley, just kind of let everything else run loose. Like, you're stopping their biggest part of the game. But like I said,
what about the rest?
They got stars across the whole field. So you stop this part, they're going to go here. And you see that with an A.J. Brown touchdown, a Jalen Hurts touchdown, a Devonta Smith touchdown, which was the absolute dagger into the heart of Chiefs fans. Now, Saquon Barkley did ruin multis, though.
Mm.
His yards
Mm-hmm.
was the favorite to score a touchdown. He scored 3 in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Didn't get close to a touchdown yesterday. So,
only
did you have him in for a touchdown?
I had him for 70-plus rushing yards, which I said was very humble bundle in my NFL multi.
Yeah.
I had him for, I had that Betcha Boost, wasn't it? The Kelsey
and Saquon both to score.
Yeah, both.
Neither coming close.
Kelsey, I don't think.
Non-existent in that game.
I don't think he was on the pitch until the second half. Plenty of boos going around the stadium. Taylor Swift got booed.
Yeah.
Chiefs got booed. Mahomes got booed.
I reckon the majority of fans there were Eagles fans.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
it was.
I think this whole of America,
70-30
apart from
almost
Kansas,
is what it sounded like.
Yeah. Everyone's rooting for Philly there.
You wonder if it's, on Kansas home soil, what changes.
Yeah. I mean,
also,
that's a tough Eagles team to beat, though.
Also, Super Bowl, it's a whole thing. I'm not sure if I completely am sold on it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole show, the whole pre-game stuff, I'm like, man, just play the game. I think the players run out to, like, what's that guy's name from Mad Men?
Oh, yeah.
Something like he's doing some like voice crack announcement for the Chiefs to run out.
Yeah.
The Chiefs finally run out and all the crowd's hype. And then they go stand off to the side. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the
it's
Eagles
a whole
come
thing
out.
for sure.
Eagles come out. Okay, it's all hype. Now let's play. And it's like, well, no, actually, there's a performance. Yeah. Oh, the anthem? No. So there's a thing before the performance.
Yeah.
And then the band plays. And it's like, okay. Now the anthem, and it's like, well, we still need to do the coin toss as well. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You should have done the coin toss when you were warming up. Why are we waiting this long? Like,
no, it's a whole thing.
The players are standing on the side for like half an hour. I'm like, as a player, I would hate that. If I had to run out and then just stand on the sideline, I'm like, I want to play.
Yeah.
Let me play. Do all this stuff
you're all jacked up, ready to go.
Yeah. It's crazy. In and amongst all the other ads too. So before, let's have a performance. Okay, cool. And now we'll have an ad. Okay, now we'll do the coin toss. Okay, ad. Okay, now we'll do the anthem. Okay, now we'll play.
Ad.
No,
well,
ad.
People are paying big money for those ads, so they need to send them across.
8 million?
Elon Musk reportedly 40 million for 3 ads.
Insane. Some of those ads, you can clearly see all the budget went to the cost of running the ad as opposed to the ad.
Yeah. We played a game where it was guess what this ad is for.
Yeah.
Because they're just so outlandish and so nothing to do with. Half the time we were guessing like, home insurance or like, health and, okay. And then all of a sudden it's a Jeep ad. And we're like, what the hell is going on? How is this a Jeep ad?
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
plenty of like LeBron and Kevin Hart ads, I thought. They were in amongst quite a few.
Yep. Matthew McConaughey was in there a lot.
All sorts.
There was, I mean, they're fun.
There were some really cool creative ones.
Yeah. None of them really stuck out to me that I can think off the top of my head, though. I mean,
that's an issue when you're paying $8 million.
Yeah. It was cool to get the full experience on the design
in the
Game
same
Pass,
3
you get the whole
ads. Yep.
Yeah, rather than ESPN, which we talked about.
Yep.
And Gatorade shower at the end, yellow green. I think it was a hell of a Gatorade shower. Like good pour. Caught Nick Sirianni by surprise. When you look at from the front angle and you're seeing Nick Sirianni's face, the pour, the shower over him, and the splash.
Fantastic.
Great splash.
Covered.
Just hated that it was at the 3-minute mark. Very premature for me. Kind of took away from it, but I guess it adds to the surprise factor because Nick Sirianni definitely wouldn't have been expecting it that early on. So,
and I think it was almost like
it was dumb for sure.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like representative of like we've done this now. You've won, and like it's almost like all this pressure just went off his shoulders, and he turned around and went and hugged all the fellas, which was cool.
Cool moment. And I mean, at the start of the season, when the Eagles were 2-2 after 4 weeks. Everyone wanted Sirianni's head. They wanted him out. They didn't want anything to do with him. He'd taken them to a Super Bowl 2 years before. And now he's just won them the Super Bowl. So, way to turn it around. I think people were calling him a big, dumb dipshit.
Damn.
And so the commentators were turning around and being like, I don't think he's going to be able to call anyone. I'm a big, dumb dipshit now, guys. He's not going to be able to do that after a Super Bowl win. So, pretty funny stuff. Anyway, let's get on to the UFC. I want to forget about the Super Bowl.
I bet.
Big bets. Public loved Weili Zhang. 6K on her.
As you should, as underdog.
Pre-fight, 2.5K, 1K on it. All as an underdog.
Please.
Are you kidding me?
Load it up.
I was so confused. I mean, you kind of told me about Tatiana Suarez being favorite for a reason.
Undefeated.
But she is the champ. The champ's got to be favored in some kind of way. It's like favoring the Chiefs over the Eagles. Chiefs were the favorites, but they shouldn't have been. Tatiana Suarez was the favorite. She probably should have been.
Well, the Chiefs were also defending champs.
Exactly. But
Zhang, defending champ.
Maybe make you a favorite.
When you have an undefeated, I can't even say prospect because she's been in the game for quite a while. She's been hindered by injuries. Her wrestling's fantastic, and Zhang has her weaknesses around takedown defense. But still, as the champ, the better of the two in terms of all-roundedness. Crazy to have her as an underdog in that show.
And yeah, she dominated, right?
She had a very well put together performance. Yeah, it was fantastic.
She was an absolute dog. She looked so strong on the ground, like wrestling.
I was saying to you before, like with her hairstyle too. She looked like one of those Tekken fighters. I forget his name. I'll have to find it. It's fantastic. If you put them side by side, I'd be like, dude.
She looked ruthless, though.
She looked like a killer, yeah.
She's the champ for a reason, and jeepers, she absolutely dominated. And some people won big on her. I mean, what? She was paying $2.40 or something as an underdog?
Really, at one point? Damn.
I think so. $2.25. $6,000 on at $2.25.
Wow.
So you're getting over 12 grand back from that.
Insane.
Great work from Weili Zhang. And then obviously DDP. We had a group of South African supporters at the watch party.
Yeah.
They're obviously loving it. You were loving it?
Yeah, good to see. Again, similar to Zhang's fight in terms of just a pure dominant performance. I think he just went 5-0 in that fight. Yeah, Strickland again had some good jabs in the mix there, had some decent moments maybe. I think, was it the third? His second round was a lot better than the first.
Yeah, he kind of just slowly built into it, right?
But yeah, DDP was on top of him, and he was so dominant from such a varied attack. He threw way more leg kicks than their first bout.
Yeah.
Cracked Strickland's nose, actually broke it.
That was a great shot. Holy.
Some of those, for both of them, some of those hits just sounded absolutely ridiculous. Just shows the sort of power you're dealing with there. And yeah, I thought much better fight for DDP. I know we kind of talked about that, and you're like, no, Strickland was just, some people saying Strickland was just bad, but I think that's because DDP was so much better than the first time that it just made Strickland look so much worse, and he wasn't able to do anything because he was getting hit from so many different angles.
Yeah, it was just like DDP was on him the whole time. Just he was on him like a rash. Like he could not get him off. And Strickland took a while to get into it. That third round, he kind of started landing some, but that shot to the nose, that you said multiple times while watching it that it freaked him out. Like he was there, like he was touching his nose, he was a bit freaked out,
trying to put it back into place. Well, that was the first time because he's such a composed fighter, and that's why I think he scares a lot of people off. And you see it in the Adesanya fight, for example. You're throwing stuff at him, and he's just still pressing you. I think with DDP, he also likes to press. So it's like a push and a shove. And when he cracked his nose, that was the first time you sort of saw Strickland freak out for a little bit. But then he popped it, tried to move it around. And then,
you reckon that's what he's doing, popping it back in?
Yeah. Well, that's what he was saying anyway.
Did he come out and say that?
And then so it was only that like minute or two where he looked a bit like freaked out and stunned. He was gashing, whatever. But then after that, back to being composed and still trying to do his job, which is credit to him because,
I mean, he kept pushing forward, but I felt like he never really applied so much pressure to DDP where it looked like, okay, he's going in for a knockout here. Going into the fifth round, he knows he needs a finish.
Well, I think.
I mean, he's probably pretty gassed, but he's not.
Well, as I say, DDP looked a lot better. He wasn't as gassed as he was in that first fight. You know, when he's throwing these massive looping haymakers but missing, he was a lot more accurate. And I think DDP, that's just him. I mean, not DDP, Strickland. That's just how he is as a fighter. We talk about the defensive Philly shell and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. He's always going to protect himself in some way and just try and overpower the fighter through his jabs and through his hooks.
Okay, so I feel like you've described Strickland's fighting style very well. Very well. Have a go at describing Dricus's for me, because lots of people have tried, and Dricus is like, no one can work it out. No, it's a good thing no one can work it out.
Well, I thought his...
Have a go.
This is probably like the most well-paced DDP everyone's seen because normally it's so unorthodox. I think he only had one takedown attempt, and he got it towards the end of the second round, I think. But normally he's just lunging at you all the time and just trying to out-wrestle you and just overpower you. Like I don't even know, it's like a hippo or a rhino running at you, just like head down. And you're just like, what the hell is this thing? and he's like swinging his arms. He had some strong overhands, but it was very much how I felt, far more calculated than what we've seen in the past. Specifically, he was targeting his legs the whole time, making Strickland worry about his legs, and then he would throw that right overhand all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, it's maybe a bit more windmill action, sort of rhino stampede, So,
okay,
I would still say a little bit unorthodox, but it's so much more versatile at this point that you don't really know what he's going to throw now. It's not just him running at you and overpowering you. It's kind of just like he's pressing you and he's hitting some sweet spots.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just that applying the pressure, and it's just so composed.
Yeah.
And saying that, how does
he... like raw, I don't know, it's like a farmer sort of power.
Farmer strength?
Farmer strength. That's what it feels like.
It also just feels, I don't know, it feels very like South African strength as well. Like they're just big, solid boys, and they're just strong for no reason. I mean, he
eat meat and potatoes and then
eating the braai all the time.
Yeah.
How does he go in his next title defense then? Obviously, there's one clear.
Well, he's been calling out Alex, and Alex wants it at 205 as well.
Yeah,
which would be crazy. I'm looking forward. Hopefully, he fights Khamzat Chimaev because that is an animal as well.
Yeah,
that guy is something different.
Yeah.
So having those two sort of animals go at it, and that's the only way I can describe it because they just don't seem human when they're in that octagon.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But yeah, I'd also love to see Alex fight because that is the fight at the moment.
Yeah.
When you think of guys you want to verse, it's Alex.
For DDP? Or
I think just for a lot of those guys.
Because the Alex Jones fight is obviously quite in there as well, but that's been put on the back burner a little bit with the John Jones
Tom
Aspinall
has to happen. You can't skip over Tom.
Yeah.
So yeah, either of those fights are great. I'd like to see him defend it one more and then go up to 205 with Alex.
Yeah. Okay.
But who's to see?
All right. Well, we'll park that there. We'll move on to just the other sports. We'll cover the grounds real quick. Obviously, Auckland FC by this weekend, which
last
just
weekend.
left. Yeah, sorry, the weekend just gone.
Yeah.
The Phoenix, they had their 1-1 draw with bottom of the table, Brisbane Roar. Still struggling down. They're in 10th, 6 points off the top 6. I don't know. It doesn't seem too positive for them at the moment.
Got the derby on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Top of the table derby.
Yeah.
In Auckland FC. So it's not impossible, but what is it? 10 games left maybe for the Knicks?
Yeah, if that.
And you're drawing with Brisbane Roar. Yeah. It's not looking
Who
great.
have quite clearly been the worst team in the league this year.
Got AFC in about, 2 weeks?
2 weeks time.
Who are defensively very strong and have already beaten you the first 2 times. I don't know. Not for me.
Not looking good for the Yellow Fever and Knicks fans.
But you never know. It's still possible. I
think they just need a bit more height, a bit more physicality in the attacking third. I think that's what they're lacking. A lot of stuff for Chiefy to kind of work out.
They're missing Zawada and they're pressuring that back line.
They're missing a Zawada chance as well. Like, get the energy going.
Get some Polish strength in there.
The Black Caps, they're over in Lahore, Pakistan, playing the Tri-Series ahead of this Champions Trophy. Pakistan in the first game, they won after Pakistan batted first, put on a dominant performance with the bat. Quite clearly a batting wicket because Glenn Phillips has then walked out and whacked 100 off at 100+ strike rate, winning us the game. Game 2 against South Africa being played last night. Again, South Africa batting first, I believe. With their opener getting 150, striking over 100. And then Kane Williamson in response leading the Black Caps to their second win over there with 100 himself as well. So good signs for the BCs heading into the Champions Trophy in a couple of weeks. The only issue there, Rachin Ravindra drops the catch in the lights, straight through the hands, and tried to header it home, needing stitches in his forehead. So out concussed, which led Devon Conway to come in. The out of form Devon Conway
hits 97.
Turns around, gets 97. So
clutch.
I mean, good problems to have apart from a concussed Rachin Ravindra.
Yeah, not looking good for him. I wonder if the lighting is the main factor in a situation like that.
I think it is.
It just looked like he didn't know where that ball was, and then he just got smoked.
Yeah, it's a rough one, and that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
I think they said he passed his concussion protocols, obviously needing stitches as well. He's going to be out for a couple games.
Damn.
Hopefully he's back for Champions Trophy because he's an unbelievable talent to have in the team. And
yeah, definitely.
He's a match winner for the Black Caps for sure, along with Glenn Phillips, obviously Kane Williamson. What else have we got? Super Rugby kicking off this weekend.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the Warriors had their first game. Preseason continues on before Vegas in a couple weeks' time as well. So there's plenty going on.
Yeah, Chiefs Blues, huge game. Game of the weekend, potentially.
Yeah, up in Auckland, Eden Park. So that'll be genius. Now, we'll finish on the group chat question of the week for you.
Ooh.
You mentioned the Super Bowl doesn't do it for you. But what might do it for you is if you go to the Super Bowl with a couple of celebrities or anyone you want to take along. So it's all about the show. It's all about the stars. You can go to the Super Bowl in a box, private suite.
Jeez.
Who are you taking with you? We can do a throuple. So and 2 others.
Hate to know how much that costs. If the GA sort of tickets like, what, $5,000?
Yeah, expensive stuff. And Chiefs fans are leaving early as well. I saw after spending $5,000 on a ticket.
No,
that's pretty rogue. I'd be staying till the lights turn off if I paid $5,000 for a ticket.
I'm there early. I'm staying late.
Anyway, who's your throuple?
If I get free tickets, man, I'm not going to say no. I don't know. Celebrities. To be honest, I would like to meet DDP, so I'll take DDP.
Yeah? And your boy Drickus?
Why not? Do I just take a bunch of Saffords?
You could
take Sia Khaleesi. I would love to meet him.
Yeah.
He just seems like such a G.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what could I take? I don't want to take Americans. I feel like they could just be there anyway. Yeah. Someone from New Zealand.
I was thinking along the lines of like, would you take a Messi?
Messi was already there.
He was there with Suarez and Jordi Alba. Like, would you take a Ronaldo? It'd be kind of cool.
I feel like, yeah, but Messi in a social setting, he's a bit strange, isn't he?
You know what would be mental if you took Conor McGregor there? Because you just know afterwards it is going to be the most wild night of your life.
I think, I don't think I could be around Conor McGregor these days. Jeez, man, maybe like an Anthony Starr or something, like a Kiwi actor.
Oh, yeah?
Take them across. It has to be someone you haven't met before. Probably, but it's still like not too big that they're just going to be hounded by fans all day.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I was thinking like a comedian of sorts.
A comedian would be good.
That'd be kind of funny because they'll just make you jokes and have a couple of drinks, have a laugh with them.
Yeah.
I don't know who you'd take. Would you take Jimmy Carr? Because his laugh is so
he would have some
funny.
interesting takes.
He would have some interesting takes.
Or like a Jim Carrey. He would probably hate the Super Bowl, but I reckon he would have some funny takes.
Oh, he would just be ripping it apart the whole time. That'd be crack up.
He'd be talking about the universe or something.
You get like a Joe Rogan there because he would be just talking about the universe.
Just for his UFC reactions. Nothing else. Not about aliens or anything. Joe is just do your UFC reactions. That's all.
I'm just going to sit there and watch you react.
Yeah.
One which would be an interesting one is if you had, like, obviously we got to listen to Tom Brady in the box commentating, but if you had like an ex-NFL guy with you, maybe an ex-Super Bowl champion, Rob Gronkowski, he was there doing the interviews and stuff, but maybe chatting with him because he's just a big dummy.
I think NFL, any sort of NFL veteran.
Yeah. Maybe, Joe Burrow, he's a stud. Maybe I'll take Joe Burrow and Jimmy Carr.
Hey, Joe Burrow, how funny is it that you're not here right now?
Yeah.
You're not playing, man.
NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Bengals get a little bit better next year. If they make the playoffs, could be a shout for MVP. So he could be. If they get better. If they get a defense, maybe a bit of Joe Burrow action. So,
Allen? I'll take Allen.
Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Joe Burrow, Jimmy Carr's my two.
Nice.
Who are you taking? DDP and...
I guess I have to. Sia Khaleesi. Too good of a dude not to. He deserves a Super Bowl ticket. Why not?
Oh, so he's had a Rugby World Cup final.
Always at the sevens, supporting the women's rugby.
Might as well go to the second biggest event in the world.
Might as well.
All right. We'll leave it there. We'll be back on Thursday for the odds on, diving into Super Rugby, NRL, no more NFL, doing the longest off season of the sporting world. And I don't know, we'll dive into a whole bunch of other stuff.
Nice.
But till then, thank you for listening, and we will see you later.